Although not the worst superhero movie in the world, can we just pretend that the Ben Affleck version of Daredevil never happened? Hello, toy collectors of the world! I have Daredevil from Marvel Select in a very beaten up box, and this is from Amazon too. Shame on you, Amazon. Major shout out to my buddy Johnny, also known as Rashnu online. Thank you so much for getting me this guy. The back has a couple other figures that were available, being that this came out a couple years back. You probably can't find these in stores or at the Disney store anymore, but you can probably find it online like Amazon or eBay with some slightly inflated prices. I love this image of Daredevil. This is probably my favorite rendition of him that I've ever seen in comic book form. I'm contemplating getting the DD symbol tattooed on me. Being that I usually open up all of my toy figures anyway, I don't even care about the packaging being all contorted like this. Usually though, Amazon keeps their stuff in better shape. Anyways, I'm tired about talking about that. Let's go and open it up. And here he is. As with all Marvel Select figures, it also comes with a little leaflet that has some other figures that are available. Out of all these, the only one that I think I have is Colossus. A lot of Marvel Select figures have their own base or some sort of background accessory. In this instance, we have the top of a church cathedral. And the detail they put into this is really cool. If you look really close, you can see the baby weeping angels. Same thing with the wings on the four corners as well. You can actually see the feathers. Even the cross itself, you can see the cracks in it as if it was made out of real granite or some sort of rock. Underneath it's hollow and very light. Let's look at the figure himself. Close-up of his face. I think they did a really good job in the sculpting. The horns on his head are somewhat sharp. Not as sharp as, say, like the Anti-Venom figure that came out. That figure has really sharp points to it, to the point where you can actually prick your skin and bleed. In fact, I did when I opened that figure up for the first time. This, it's still sharp, but not to that extent. Close-up of his chest, you can see the DD symbol there. I'm a huge fan of the Netflix show, and I like the idea that he doesn't have any kind of symbol because it seems kind of hokey and cheesy. But I like it in the comic book, so I don't know if that makes sense. It's like in comic book world, it should be there, but in reality, if you were to see something like that, it feels like it's very hokey. Anyways, though, look at his abs. Look how ripped those are. Then again, all superheroes, especially those who rely on their own agility and their own human strengths, they have to be very strong and ripped. He comes with his own billy clubs, although these honestly look a bit more like nunchucks. And unfortunately, the only way for him to hold the billy clubs is to hold it in that one hand. He has a holster, but there's no slot in there for him to put it in. Ha! Slot to put it in. Phrasing. Boom! He has a pretty decent bone. Very cool muscular back. And something I never really paid much attention to before, he just has a regular belt. He doesn't have any type of pouches attached to it. His billy club is really his only way of getting around, although sometimes he does have other devices in hand, and there's no explanation in the comic book about how he carries those around. Modern Marvel Select figures have a bit more articulation to them than the figures that came out a few years ago, like Daredevil, but even still, they are limited in the number of joints that they can put in them. Marvel Legend figures are much more known for having a lot more ways you can pose them. But let's go and go through what this guy has here. First, he has movement in his head, upper shoulder movement, elbow movement, wrist movement, waist movement, upper leg movement, double jointed knee movement, and ankle movement. Overall, he is a cool figure. Like I said, he is limited in his movement, so you can't really put him in too many different poses. I wish I had another Daredevil figure to compare him to, like another Marvel Legend figure that's come out, but I don't have any, surprisingly. But these are some other Marvel Select figures that I have. Here's the Anti-Venom figure that I was talking about. Like I said, his horn tips are sharp, but in comparison here, these are so much sharper. I don't know what they were thinking. These things really can cut your skin. But that's all I can really say about this guy. He is very cool. Johnny, again, thank you so much for getting me this guy. I'm going to be giving him a great home. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me in this video. Be sure to check out my Patreon site, my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Captain America and Daredevil have teamed up and fought each other many different times, but I always felt like Bucky would be a much better partner for Daredevil to either team up with or to fight against. They have met up several times before in the past, but I feel like they should have like an ongoing partnership similar to how some other characters always seem to team up together like Deadpool and Spider-Man, but that's just my personal opinion.